So here's the thing, if issue 1 were to pass, it would require the supermajority to change the state's constitution. Our legal analyst, Stephanie Haney, joins us now because this has been one of those really confusing elections where people just aren't really sure what they're voting for if they're not careful.
That is true.
If issue 1 passes here, we know that it would require 60%. But there is some confusion as to what would require 60%. So tell us exactly what would have to reach that threshold. And also, I know you've been looking into states that already have similar laws. What did you find?
Yes, so first things first, we are dealing with constitutional amendments here specifically. So only constitutional amendments here in Ohio. And if issue 1 passes, it would take effect immediately. So that would impact Ohioans in November. Now, if that happens, Ohio would join 11 other states where it takes a supermajority or some other special requirement to pass a state constitutional amendment, which again is what we're dealing with here in an election. Now, a supermajority is anything more than a simple majority. So 50% plus 2 is a supermajority because 50% plus 1 is a simple majority, and so is 55% and so on. Now, in Colorado, it takes a 55% supermajority of the vote to pass a constitutional amendment. In Wyoming and Minnesota, it takes a majority of all votes cast in the election. So if you're wondering what that means, it means leaving your vote blank for a constitutional amendment there equals a no vote. Now, things get very complicated in Illinois, but in general, it takes a 60% vote on the amendment to pass it in most cases. And right now, only 2 states always require 60% or more. There will be 3 states if issue 1 passes in Ohio. But for now, amendments require a 60% vote in Florida and a 66.67% vote in New Hampshire, simply put as a 2/3 vote. Now, Nevada is a really special case where an amendment has to get a majority vote in 2 back-to-back elections to get passed, Jay and Christy, and become part of a state constitution.
That's a big threshold.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. So I know that other states maybe have tried this out to pass something similar. Specifically to the issue 1 recently. What do you know about that?
Yeah, there have been several other states that have tried to do something recently, and the track record is not great for these issues as they've come up in other states. There have been 5 other attempts actually to raise the threshold for passing future ballot issues in general since 2017. The most on-point comparisons come from South Dakota and Arkansas. Both of those attempts failed. South Dakota's Amendment X would have raised the threshold for constitutional amendments, and Arkansas's Issue 2 would have raised the threshold for constitutional amendments and then also citizen-initiated statutes. Now, the Arkansas initiative was on the ballot just last year in 2022 and failed, so that recently.
Do you know what percentage of Ohio voters have cast ballots on issue 1 so far? Because I think that might shine a little bit of light as to whether this is likely to pass or not.
Sure. Now, at the state level, I can't tell you numbers for the state level, but I can tell you it's high for a special election here in Cuyahoga County. So a little context here. Voter turnout was about 10% here in the August 2022 special election and around 50% in the November 2022 general election. Now, so far, Cuyahoga County is at about 30.5%. And we just checked in the last hour. It's gone up almost 3% in the last hour, and those voting booths are still open for about 2.5 more hours. So lots of opportunity for those numbers to continue to go up as people get off work.
And remember what Bree just said, in that specific district there where she is at that polling place, 50%. So we know this is important to so many people, and you know that just driving around and seeing all the signs for yes or no.
There's signs everywhere. I was trying to find some sort of polling information yesterday because I was wondering if any companies have done polls to see the likelihood that this would pass. And I only found one, and it said that Ohioans are almost a 50-50 split on this in pre-election polling. We'll see how those numbers turn out later tonight.
Sure. I can tell you, too, this doesn't seem to be a partisan issue. I've seen vote yes signs and vote no signs in different places, particularly seen vote no signs with people who are supporting Republican Party members.
Right.
So it doesn't seem to be a partisan issue. People are really looking at this from all sides.
All right. We'll find out soon enough.
Stephanie, thank you. Good information there.